All right, so on behalf of the Center for Economic Education and Entrepreneurship at the University of Delaware, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the Spring 2026 Stock Market Game and InvestWrite Awards ceremony. My name is Scott Bacon. If you haven't already met me, I'm the Associate Director here at the Center for Econ Ed, and I'm also the State Coordinator for the Stock Market Game and InvestWrite Essay Contest here in Delaware. I do have one simple request for everyone. If you could, and everyone's doing a great job already, if you could please leave your computer on mute unless you are one of those team representatives and or a teacher who will be speaking later as we introduce you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and begin the fun stuff. So today we're here honoring the students on the teams and their teachers that finished the 10-week spring stock market game with the highest dollar value stock portfolios in grades 4-5, in 6-8, and in the high school divisions. All of the stock market game players are invited to also submit an essay in the InvestWrite competition in either the fall or the spring in the same grade level divisions, and we will be honoring some fall winners here tonight. We may be honoring these wonderful students today. They're the real reasons why we're here, but we also certainly owe a heartfelt thank you to the dedicated teachers, the parents and guardians, and also the administrators who are also here this evening. So we'll give you a quiet round of applause for that. So we know that your support and your encouragement play immeasurable roles in the achievements of these wonderful students. So thank you all for everything that you have done and continue to do for Delaware students. Before introducing our winning teams, we'll get to that in a second, and their proud teachers, I would like to tell everyone here, for parents, administrators, et cetera, exactly what the stock market game is. It's a national program that is sponsored by SIFMA, or the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association. They're out of New York. Over 600,000 students across the nation participate in all 50 states. The Center for Econ Ed here at the University of Delaware, we've been offering this program since 1983. And that's pretty impressive because the game was only first offered in 1977. So Delaware has been a part of it almost since the beginning. This spring, the game started on February 2nd, and it lasted 10 weeks, as all the students know, through April 10th, which was hard because that was the week of spring break for many of our students, but they persevered and still were able to play from home. This spring in Delaware, we had that you can see on your screen, 1,311 students in Delaware. They were spread across 417 different teams. We had 43 different teachers from 34 different schools participate. And those students were, of course, learning about the risks and rewards of investing in our economy as they participated in the game. To give you an idea of just how competitive this spring was, so I have to read these statistics. So give me a second here. The top 25 teams overall came from 14 different schools across the state, which is pretty impressive. Here's even more impressive, I think. Over 160 teams out of those 417 earned a profit as measured by total equity. And that was kind of hard, especially if you know anything about what was going on in March. And a whopping 289 of those teams actually beat the S&P 500 growth for the same 10 weeks. So a majority of our teams beat the S&P 500. That's unprecedented. I've never seen that many teams beat it before. 8 teams beat the S&P by double digits. So that just tells you the quality of the students competing this spring. All right. A couple of things. We would not be able to offer this to Delaware's students without the support of the folks that you see on our screen here. It is free of charge to schools and to students because of the generous financial support that we receive from the Investor Protection Unit of the Delaware Department of Justice. We also receive important financial support from WSFS and from the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association Foundation, also known as SIFMA. A little bit of how the stock market game works. The students know this, and excuse me as I let more people in. it's grade level teams. So we have elementary, we have middle, and we have high school divisions. There's 10 weeks to the game, and all teams start with $100,000 in pretend money, fake money, that they're allowed to invest in basically whatever they want: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, etc., as long as it's listed, on the New York Stock Exchange and or on NASDAQ. Before investing, we hope, and I'm sure that the teachers help them with this, they research financials and stock performance, the stock performances of companies, and they create an investment strategy as a team. They then go on the live platform on their computers or on their cell phones, and they enter their trades. They monitor the value over time. They have to pay fees for all of their transactions, but they are free to buy and sell as little or as often as they choose. It's really up to each individual team. Some buy and hold, and then others actively trade. The team in each of the 3 grade level divisions that finishes the 10-week stock market game with the highest total equity. There's a number of different measures that we can use, but the stock market game uses highest total equity in their portfolio is the winner. The winners they've already received a certificate and a trophy, and their teacher also receives a trophy that they can leave in their classroom or put on display in their school. And I think I already mentioned this, but this spring, that market was pretty volatile during March, as I think our investors will tell you, not only with the government shutdown, but we had war in the Middle East and rising energy costs, et cetera, et cetera. And what that reminded me of is future. This is a great thing to participate in, and you just might have a winning essay. Who knows? We'll honor them in a moment.
Are you ready?
A high school winner. We had Danny Nguyen from Cape Henlopen High School in the Cape Henlopen School District. Danny's in 12th grade. We can see a quote here on the screen from his essay as well. His teacher is Katie Izakowski at Cape Henlopen. Is Danny with us this evening? I think so. Danny,
yes,
great.
I'm here.
Awesome. Could you tell us a little bit something about either what you wrote about in your essay or what you generally learned from playing the stock market game?
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank my teacher, Miss Izakowski, for supporting me throughout the stock market game. I would also like to thank my teammates for working with me throughout this experience. I learned a lot from this program, especially because it was my first time experiencing what it feels like to manage a large amount of money and spend it to buy stocks. Through this experience, I learned how to analyze companies, watching news, make decisions, and my best key takeaways is you make decisions based on research instead of I like this company, so I want to buy that stock. And investing requires patience because the market can be very unpredictable.
I agree 100%. And I think all of you, if we combined your knowledge, all of the winners tonight, it's just amazing. It amazes me. So thank you, Danny. Katie, I think is here. Izakowski, I think I saw you.
I'm here, yes.
Yeah, great. Yeah, Katie, would you like to say anything about the stock market game in general or Danny specifically?
Both, actually. We played in the fall. Danny's team did very well. I believe we finished in the top 10 in the high school division. It was a struggle, though, the whole way through. Every time we checked, something weird would happen. They were good about, bringing ideas to the table. The team worked really well together. Danny, I submitted a handful of essays. Everyone wrote a really phenomenal essay. Danny's really stood out as gaining some additional insight for the future when it comes to you're talking about the difference between short-term and long-term investing. And I think maybe because Danny is very mature, he's got a long-term goal in mind. So in spite of the fact that we played in the very short term and it's not real money, so you do get to be a little bit more reckless, there are some long-term implications that I think students are picking up from this experience. It was our first time doing the InvestWrite, essay contest. And I'm really proud of all my students. But when I saw that Danny won, I cried. I thought, this is so great. He's going to be so excited. So I'm really thrilled for him. He did a great job.
Well, we're all thrilled for him and for all of the winners. I mean, it takes effort to do this, right? Writing an essay isn't something that you just do on a Saturday morning, right? But we're glad to hear about the work ethics and the learning that takes place with all of these students. So, Katie, thank you very much for sharing that about Danny. And Danny, congratulations to you. All right, so we are closing out here. We've heard from remarkable students. I don't think either Ms. Lazar or Mr. Weldon were able to join us tonight, but we do, again, want to thank them and all of our sponsors so that we can bring this to our Delaware schools, the teachers and their students, free of financial charge. They just have to put in the work. That's all that's required. I also want to say thank you to my boss, Dr. Asarda. He is currently in Spain celebrating his parents' 50th anniversary. Otherwise, he would be here. But on his behalf, I would like to thank all of you who are here and all of these incredible students, of course, for their hard work and for their free investment advice. I've got to admit, I was taking some notes from you all. I'm hoping to retire a little bit sooner, maybe. But again, thank you to all the teachers, to the administrators that are here who took their time and who take their time day in and day out to work with our wonderful students across the state from north to south. Thank you again to our investors for their ongoing support for our center and for the stock market game specifically. Last but not least, I want to thank all of the parents who are here tonight and for guardians and for grandparents and all of the support network that our students have at home as they support these young scholars through their journey in life. Your support does not go unnoticed. We notice it, and the teachers notice it, and our schools notice it as well. So without further ado, that concludes the Spring 2026 Stock Market Game and InvestWrite Awards ceremony. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Stay well, enjoy the beautiful spring weather, and I hope you all have a wonderful end of the school year and a relaxing summer. Thank you all very much for being here tonight.